Georgia's Republican Party is recommending that the state get rid of the new voting machines and replace them with hand-marked paper ballots. This comes after many Republicans intensely disputed the results of the 2020 election, where Democrats in Georgia won the presidential race and both Senate seats. 11 Alive's Doug Richards has more from the Gold Dome.
2 years ago, Republicans insisted that the state buy new computerized voting machines, as Democrats called instead for the use of hand-marked paper ballots. How one election cycle has changed things. The state spent $100 million to buy new voting machines for every voting precinct in Georgia. Republicans pushed them through over the objections of Democrats who called for hand-marked paper ballots. For in-person voting, Republicans now want to establish scanning systems with hand-marked paper ballots, calling on the state to return touchscreens, dedicated scanners, and batteries to Dominion voting systems.
There are states returning to paper ballots, and so it's something that we need to consider because at the end of the day, we want voters to have confidence in our system.
Brad Carver chaired the Republican committee that wrote the recommendations to get rid of the Dominion systems in response to a post-election uproar from backers of Donald Trump after Trump lost Georgia. When Republicans led the charge in 2019 to buy the new Dominion voting machines, Democrats opposed them because they argued the machines were vulnerable to hacking.
It is very ironic that the Republicans have belatedly realized that there was a more secure and less expensive method that we should have adopted 2 years ago for voting in Georgia.
Democrat Elena Parent says she agrees with Republicans who are newly critical of the Dominion voting machines, but she says not because the election was stolen. Republicans acknowledge that it may not be easy to just toss aside the $100 million voting system that the state bought 2 years ago. If that's the case, Republicans say that voters in the voting booth ought to have a choice of whether to use the voting machines or to use hand-marked paper ballots.